Lucas Paquetá has always been more than just another footballer for West Ham United. Since his arrival, he brought flair, creativity, and that Brazilian magic that fans adore. But now, the story has taken a dramatic twist. A heartfelt post on Instagram has sent shockwaves through the football world and raised one big question. Is Lucas Paquetá about to say goodbye to West Ham? In his message, Paquetá thanked the fans for their support, expressed his gratitude to the club, and hinted that this chapter of his career might be closing. For many, it felt like a farewell. For the fans, it was both emotional and heartbreaking, because players like Paquetá don't come around often. He is a rare gem in modern football, and when someone like him suggests that his time might be over, it's impossible to ignore. Let's go back for a moment and remember how Paquetá arrived at West Ham. When he first joined, many doubted if he would adapt to the intensity of the Premier League. But it didn't take long for him to silence those doubts. From his first touches, his vision, his ability to control the rhythm of the game, and his instinct to find decisive passes, he became the heartbeat of the team. He wasn't just another signing, he was a statement. West Ham, a club often fighting to prove itself among England's elite, had managed to bring in a Brazilian international who had played for AC Milan, Lyon, and was a regular in the national team. For the fans, it was a dream come true. Paquetá gave West Ham exactly what they had been missing for years: creativity in midfield, the ability to unlock defenses, and moments of brilliance that could turn games around. His partnership with Declan Rice during their time together became one of the most exciting midfields in England. And even after Rice left for Arsenal, Paquetá remained a source of inspiration, often carrying the team in tough matches. He became a fan favorite, not only for his skills but also for his attitude. Paquetá played with joy, with passion, and with that unmistakable flair that Brazilians bring to the game. But behind the smiles and the celebrations, there were also storms. Last year, Paquetá was close to a blockbuster transfer to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola had identified him as the missing piece for his midfield, someone who could add unpredictability and brilliance. The deal was reportedly close, but then came the shocking twist. An investigation by the FA into betting irregularities, involving matches in which Paquetá was allegedly linked. Suddenly the move collapsed, and Paquetá found himself stuck in limbo. For many players, such a scandal could have broken their spirit. But Paquetá carried on, continued playing, and continued giving his best for West Ham. Still, everyone knew that something had changed. Now, with his latest Instagram post, the feeling is stronger than ever. Lucas Paquetá might not stay at West Ham for much longer. His contract runs until 2027, which means West Ham are in no rush to sell. They hold the power in negotiations, and any club wanting Paquetá will have to pay a massive fee. But when a player hints at wanting to leave, the situation can become complicated. For Paquetá, it seems the desire to seek a new challenge is growing. So why now? Why would Paquetá think about leaving at this point in his career? The answer may lie in a combination of factors. First, the natural ambition of a player of his caliber. At 28 years old, Paquetá is in the prime of his career. He knows that the next move could define the legacy of his playing days. A player of his talent will want to compete at the highest level, in the Champions League, fighting for titles regularly. As much as West Ham has improved in recent years, winning the Europa Conference League and challenging in Europe, they still aren't at the level of clubs like Manchester City, Real Madrid, or PSG. For Paquetá, who has already proven himself in England, the idea of taking that next step must be very tempting. Second, the emotional weight of the failed City transfer. Once you know the champions of England and Europe truly want you, it's hard to settle for less. The collapse of that move must have been difficult for Paquetá to accept, and perhaps deep down, he has never stopped dreaming of that opportunity. Now, with a new season underway and City still in need of fresh creativity, the rumors will no doubt return. Could this be the time when the move finally happens? Third, the situation in West Ham itself. The club has ambitions, but it remains in a constant battle to break into the top 6 of the Premier League. For Paquetá, who plays with some of the world's best alongside him in the Brazilian national team, there is always the question, am I challenging myself enough here? Am I winning the titles I should be winning? That hunger for more could be pushing him toward the exit. And finally, there is the human side. Paquetá's Instagram post didn't just feel like a professional statement. It was personal, emotional, and heartfelt. That suggests he has already been reflecting deeply on his time at the club and preparing himself for the possibility of leaving. It wasn't the kind of message you post if you plan to stay for the long term. It sounded like closure, like gratitude before moving on. The impact of Paquetá leaving West Ham would be massive. On the pitch, they would lose their creative engine, the player who can change a game with one touch or one pass. Off the pitch, they would lose a symbol of ambition, proof that West Ham could attract and keep players of world-class quality. For the fans, it would be a painful goodbye. But at the same time, they know football is full of cycles. Just as Declan Rice eventually moved on, Paquetá may also need to take that step. If he does leave, where could he go? The obvious option is Manchester City. Pep Guardiola is a longtime admirer, and City has the financial muscle to make it happen. With Kevin De Bruyne entering the later stages of his career and dealing with injuries, Paquetá could be the perfect successor to carry City's midfield creativity. Another possibility is PSG. The French giants love Brazilian stars, and with Neymar gone and Messi also out of the picture, a new Brazilian face could excite the fans. Real Madrid might also be in the mix, especially if they want to add more attacking creativity to support players like Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. Wherever he goes, it will be a blockbuster move, one that will dominate headlines. For now, though, Paquetá remains a West Ham player. And perhaps, just perhaps, there is still a chance that the club convinces him to stay longer. Football is unpredictable, and sometimes the emotional goodbye messages turn out to be more about appreciation than departure. But this one felt different. This one felt final. And if that is the case, West Ham fans should prepare themselves for a farewell to one of the most talented players to ever wear their shirt. Lucas Paquetá's story at West Ham may be coming to an end, but his journey in football is far from over. Wherever he goes next, one thing is certain. He will continue to enchant fans with his brilliance, his flair, and his passion. And for West Ham, his legacy will remain. They will always remember the Brazilian who brought joy, magic, and unforgettable moments to the London Stadium. And perhaps one day, they will see him again. But for now, the world waits to see where Paquetá's next chapter will take him. Because in football, nothing is ever certain. But when a player like Lucas Paquetá drops hints of goodbye, the world pays attention. And right now, everyone is watching.